Welcome back to IGN at Gamescom. Now, Rock of Ages 3 is about a giant, hilarious wrecking ball destroying the Earth. Here to tell us more is Andres and Juan Pablo from GMR. Thank you guys so much for coming, and my good friend Max.
Hey, what's up?
A man who loves balls.
Yeah. What?
Okay.
You can't just start the interview like that.
Yeah, we got him. All right. Thank you guys so much for coming. This game looks super funny. It's got a great sense of humor. But one of the big new angles in this game this time around is the custom level making.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what's going on with that?
Yeah, so we're super excited because this game, for the first time, it enables people to start building their own levels. And that's something super unique because the game already features so many game modes, so many approaches from playing with boulder, as you can see here. So we're really looking forward to giving the users something with which they can experiment, they can I don't know, just simply do crazy stuff.
Right.
Now this is, I was playing a bit of the previous one, and I love that it lets you can do the sort of the battle mode, you know, where you're scoring off against someone, and there's the level of sort of RTS to go with it. But then there's also sometimes, it's an obstacle course, and it's just going to be like a silly, weird race in a physics sandbox. Have you seen sort of, is there a balance of both of those in the custom creation stuff?
Sure. It really comes down to the user what they want to do, because actually you can build levels that are more focused on specific parts or tailored toward the strategy portion of the game, or you can focus on the action part. So if you're making an obstacle course level, maybe you're making this weird map that has only exploding barrels, and you can do a domino effect. So it's really up to the users.
Have you seen sort of users play favorites and what kind of stuff they want to make, or is it really just kind of whatever they're into?
Well, at this point, I mean, we haven't released it to the public yet, so all the experimentation we've done is internally in the studio. But at this point, we've already handed it to the different people directly at Ace Team, and they've already produced some really wild concepts. And it's really easy, and there's no effort in creating these maps, so we really anticipate that the community will have a blast and create some really unique stuff.
We are having our bets for the cannons and the trampolines. Every time we show those, people have a blast and they see, oh, cool, and wow, and yeah, it's been very fun to demo the game too.
Because that's when things start to get really crazy. Now, from Marble Madness to Super Monkey Ball, the giant rolling ball genre in video games has sort of kind of endured the test of time. Why do you think people are drawn to this? Is it like the simplicity of it, the childlike wonder of just rolling a ball down a hill?
Yeah, when we created the first game, it was immediately after Xenoclash, which was a little bit more niche, was targeted towards specific markets. And we wanted to make something a little bit more casual, which people could connect immediately. And we were always looking for stuff to bring into the game that we're not commonly seeing in the video game industry. The Python sense of humor made total sense because, as you can see there, we have a giant cheese wheel rolling.
It's one of my favorite characters from Skyrim.
Yeah, and nothing can ever go bad with cheese. So
right, yeah.
And there's a face on it too.
So why not? And this quirky design and all this cool stuff that it enabled us to do. So yeah, we were just having a blast with it, and it made total sense to continue exploring this route with further iterations of the game.
So we've seen this. Is that a boulder or a meatball?
That's a meatball because we have the giant, the flying spaghetti monster as one of the creatures that you're going to get to play with.
So you guys have spaghetti, you have meatballs, you have cheese. You also have, I believe that was was that like a ball of sheeps at the beginning?
Yeah.
What the hell was that? Ball of sheeps?
Yeah, I'm getting hungry.
Is that like a sheep king, like a rat king, but with sheep?
Yeah, it's a bunch of sheep because it's based on one of the myths from the Odyssey, where Odysseus has to escape a cave.
Yeah.
And they do that by getting under the sheep. I think this is in the book.
That is. Where they sneak out of the Cyclops cave, right?
Yeah, the Cyclops.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so I love that you've got, this looks like the silliest, most nonsensical game in the world, but it is somehow miraculously actually rooted in history and art.
Yeah, well, it has a little bit of everything.
It's a super sheep ball, but it's also a Homeric reference, so that's
this is based on real historic battles.
Yeah, not that historically accurate.
I'm not saying it's historically accurate, but if you were like, what's that? I would not be like, yeah, that's from the Odyssey.
Yeah.
Possibly.
You also have Humpty Dumpty in there, one of my favorite historical figures.
Yeah,
Can you
absolutely.
talk about sort of the different behaviors of the meatball versus the sheepball versus Humpty Dumpty?
Journalism.
Yeah, I don't know. Juan Pablo, you played a little bit with Humpty Dumpty.
Yeah. So Humpty Dumpty, for instance, is one of our characters that are super fragile because it's an egg, obviously. So we have created like a special mode in which the Humpty Dumpty levels are more like a platformer. Instead of smashing and rolling against everything, you need to carefully be around the obstacles and all that stuff. So the cool thing about this game is that it's giving so much flexibility to us and through the editor to the public that you can really create, I don't know, races or platforming games or I don't know what. That's the cool thing. We are really thrilled and really excited to get this to the hands of the players and see what they are going to make. We're really wondering about
And this is coming to PC, right?
Yeah, PC and consoles, simultaneous launch.
Will there be mod support on PC?
So one of the cool things about the level editor is it's actually the same tool we're using to make the campaign.
Oh.
So if we're not happy with something about the level editor, we're going to keep on expanding it, and we want that full power, the extent of the power of the level editor to hand it to the community. So we can anticipate that there's going to be like some really wild creations that we didn't even anticipate could be made. For let's say someone makes a level where a cannon shoots into another cannon, and Steam Workshop is probably going to be integrated, so it makes total sense.
That's great to hear. Now, we're not allowed to do like FIFA or Pro Evolution Soccer interviews because we always joke about asking the developers, why don't they make a mode where the ball is a cube or a pyramid? But that's a question that actually kind of works here. Have you ever tried something for one of the boulders that just didn't work? Like that was like too weird of a shape or too lopsided?
Well,
is that, yeah.
Yeah, we actually have the Block of Ages here. That's a returning favorite from Rock of Ages 2, and it was also featured in Rock of Ages 1. And actually, in the first game, it was kind of a silly addition. I think it was an April Fool's edition. I can't remember. And when we were making the second game, we were thinking, how can we make a cube compete with the other rocks? And we got some cool ideas. It's like overpowered. Actually, at a certain point, the Block of Ages was so overpowered that when we were testing it with the QA team, they were starting to really beat us in all the levels using that block. So you can definitely try out some really weird stuff. I guess we haven't tried a pyramid at this point.
So in terms of those designs and those pitches, how does that work? Does somebody come into the studio hungover and go like, I want to make a cheese wheel, I want to make a lamb ball?
The cheese wheel is actually a request from the community. It's one of the fan favorites. We're really connecting a lot with the community, hearing what they want to see. Some come from the design team. I mean, at this point, I think we're starting to run out of ridiculous spheres to include into the game.
and the cool thing is that this is a collaboration between two studios, like Ace Team and GMR. And so when we are on the team developing something, sometimes Andres, as directing the design, comes with an idea, and then our team say like, hey Andres, but why don't we, I don't know, make the fist get more power as he rolls, and then stomp the floor and make more energy and damage or whatever. And oh, cool, good idea. So we are kind of designing on the run some of the stuff, and it's pretty cool because we are having a fun testing this, beating each other. We did an initial contest between the two studios, and they destroyed us. Given their experience on the two first games, but now we are expecting to beat them up at the end of the development because now we will understand how this goes.
Yeah, there's a rematch in the future.
It sounds like you guys have a really wonderful time just making stuff and getting weird and screwing around. It's great that you're giving that kind of opportunity for the community to join in. Will there be the opportunity to make new game modes or make new boulders for fans or players?
Well, you can customize the boulders with different paint decals, stuff like that. We're trying to add a big variety of boulders that have different functions, different stats, like double jump. Some have more power, have more inertia. So you can't directly like configure the boulders, but we've always kept a close eye to what the community is asking for, and if there's some crazy idea that someone has and the community wants to see it, we'll definitely consider including it to the game.
Have you guys done any testing of like actual real boulder physics in the wild?
That's a weird question, but I have a partial answer for that.
Good.
So when we were making the second game, we were thinking of some cool ideas to like market the game, and we were thinking, what if we could make like a massive like rock and sculpt the face on it, and try to roll it down a hill and start breaking stuff. And in the end, we didn't decide doing it because it was too dangerous.
It is very dangerous.
I'm glad you made that choice, but that would have been a pretty good like live action trailer.
Yeah,
I've seen in like Looney Tunes where they start with a giant snowball and it rolls down the hill.
Yeah.
And it's big enough to take over a whole town.
Yeah. So well, it was a great idea, but I would have loved to see it, but it didn't happen.
Comedy influence is obviously Monty Python, huge one here. Is there any other specific stuff from comedy history that has inspired this game?
I think for the most part, it's still Monty Python. We were big Python fans all the way along. Since we were kids, we were watching the show. So whenever we're looking for new characters to add in, we're looking like researching a little bit of the history, seeing what kind of like known facts people know, and kind of twisting that into the little sequences so people can relate to the characters. It's super fun to see a match and see what kind of avatars the people are choosing. So yeah, for the most part, it's Python.
All right. And when can people play the game?
It's coming early next year. Still haven't locked down a specific date, but it's coming.
And PC and consoles and stuff,
Yeah,
right?
PC and all consoles, simultaneous launch.
Guys, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Rock of Ages 3. You'll be able to play it very soon, and it's one of the many games we're covering right here at IGN, at Gamescom now, so don't go anywhere.